You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
G'day and welcome to the weekly Betoota News Bulletin, coming to you from Koala Mattress Studios in downtown Betoota. My name's Bruce Hitchcock and with me in the studio today is Wendell Hussey.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to this week's news wrap. Before we kick things off, a quick reminder that the Betoota Advocate Roadshow will be touring the country in just under a month. We'll be hitting 13 cities around Australia during November, so grab your tickets now and come and join the nation's #1 source of independent regional news.
The link will be in the show notes, or you can head to www.betootaadvocate.com/roadshow to meet us when we come to your town. Now into the news wrap. Del, there's been a bit of commotion down there in Sydney this week.
Hasn't there ever, Bruce? The gambling-sponsored state of New South Wales is currently the scene of a fierce debate over controversial plans to use Australia's most iconic piece of architecture, the Sydney Opera House, as a billboard. This comes after Alan Jones bullied the Opera House into promoting his mate's Gumtree ad for a 2008 Land Cruiser on the sales of the famous building. The Prime Minister has since weighed in, saying that he thought projecting Al's mate Kerrod's 2008 Toyota Land Cruiser on the iconic building was a no-brainer. He said to us,
I don't understand why we tie ourselves up in knots about these things. Alan has a mate trying to flog off a car, and his mate asked Alan to demand that the directors of Australia's most iconic landmark to do exactly what he wants.
And Bruce, elsewhere in the country, the government has refuted renewed calls to act on climate change down in Canberra.
They certainly have, Del. Melissa Price, the Federal Environment Minister, who used to work in the mining sector, has explained this week that she's pretty sceptical about the findings of 91 different scientists. She's called bullshit on the recent report released by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which states that the world needs to act before 2050, otherwise we could reach a point of no return in terms of rising temperatures. Price explained that those calling for countries to move away from coal were clearly not taking into account that Australia is a coal country, and that even if the world would warm beyond repair, the economic interests of the coal industry should be at the forefront of economic policy. She finished by stating that she just doesn't understand why all these independent and impartial scientists are pursuing this relentless vendetta against coal.
You do have to wonder why they're so obsessed with tarnishing the minerals brand. And Bruce, the fallout from the Royal Commission in the banking and financial sector continues this week. The cult hero, financial guru and author Scott Pape has issued some interesting advice on how to keep your money safe. Pape, or the Barefoot Investor as he is more commonly known, told The Advocate this week in an exclusive interview that you just can't trust the banks. He said the best way to look after your money is to dig a little hole down the side of your house and bury your money in a bicky tin. Not even ING can save us now, he said.
Sage advice there, Del. And back home in town, a local Instagram influencer has posted an instructional video on how to cut fruit whilst wearing a sports bra. The aesthetically blessed influencer with very limited training in dietetics, or maybe it's nutrition, I'm not sure, but she's posted a video online on how to prepare basic health foods, also whilst wearing very revealing activewear. The woman named Kelly told her 12,000 followers on Instagram, who are mainly tradies and teenage boys, that the sliced fruit was one of her favourite meals. After finishing the shoot, she told us that her transition from simply just a hot chick on Instagram to an entrepreneur and wellness coach has been an incredible experience.
Inspirational stuff, really, Bruce. And on the other end of the health spectrum this week, we covered a young woman's bold attempt to alleviate the effects of a hedonistic weekend. The woman named Brittany spoke to us about how she hoped to use a strategy known as intermittent fasting to negate the toll taken on her body, which she treated like a garbage dump for the entirety of the weekend. Brittany explained that fasting just resets everything in your body, and skipping a few meals early on in the week would balance out a couple of days of stuffing her face like they were her last days on Earth. The young solicitor said it had something to do with the body eating the fat reserves.
Well, I'm not too sure about the science behind that one, but I hope it works out for her. And on the sporting front, a local MMA fan was thrown into a mad panic before the big fight last weekend. Nigh on wetting himself with excitement ahead of the fight between McGregor and Nurmagomedov, the young man made a mad dash home after realising that he'd forgotten his Monster Energy flat brim hat. The local peptide user called Gareth said to us,
"How did I fucking forget? It's Khabib McGregor and I'm fucking sitting here looking like an idiot without a flatty."
Luckily for him, he did manage to make it back into the venue in time for the fight.
So all's well that ends well.
Keys, wallet, phone, monster hat. That's what he'll be doing from now on, I'd say. Well, that's it for the news wrap this week. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, the story behind the Betoota Advocate, Australia's oldest and most respected newspaper, will be coming to a town or city near you very soon. So make sure to grab tickets when we come to town.
And please, subscribe to the podcast to get your weekly fix of real, unfiltered and unwavering regional news.
Until next week, I'm Bruce Hitchcock.
And I'm Wendell Hussey.